On my weekly live show, The Captain's Cast, every Sunday, I had this prediction about The Acolyte. Star Wars The Acolyte. Folks, I've said it before. It's gonna be the worst one of these. It's gonna be the worst one. And I'm so excited. I could be wrong about The Acolyte, but what I am saying is, I'm not gonna be. Because it's gonna be so... Look at the people running this. They're freaks, man. It's the bearded lady. She's escaped the freak show, and she's running The Acolyte. And I was dead on accurate. I am Captain Garrett of the Swords and Starships channel. All hands brace for impact because we're gonna tear The Acolyte Episode 1 to shreds. Spoilers are involved. Warning, spoilers are involved. This show is, in a word, boring.
Hello?
Oh. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Seriously, no actual human writes dialogue this way. In the first 2 scenes, the show completely blows any chance at mystery or suspense. This is the writing equivalent of finger painting with lead-based paint. In other words, The Acolyte is a Disney Plus show. Take a look at these 2 titles. I mean, Lost/Found. Revenge/Justice.
Jesus.
Who the hell does multiple choice for a title? The story, if you can call it that, kicks off in an AI-generated Star Wars bar with lots of random silly aliens. We follow a highly stunning and brave girl. She fortunately wore her COVID mask because you can never be too careful. She approaches a table of characters we don't know and have no reason to care about, and fires her best righteously aggrieved SJW glare at Master Jedi Indara. Indara, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, who we also have absolutely no investment in whatsoever, except that we all remember she's Trinity from The Matrix. Master Indara, she says, attack me with all your strength. Prepare yourself for every single dialogue in this show to be pointless, exposition-driven, and maddeningly circular. Why is every dialogue in a D+ series like this? The game is already spoiled. We, the audience, already know that the Jedi will refuse because Jedi do not aggress unless attacked first. This always reduces the dialogue in a situation like this to a pointless nuh-uh, yes, huh, back and forth.
Attack me with all your strength.
I have no quarrel with you.
Attack me, Jedi.
Jedi do not attack the unarmed.
Yes, you do.
And there's the inevitable heroes are morally gray oppressors, and the villains are really misunderstood forgotten victims setup. T-minus 2.5 minutes. In the ensuing fight, a little girl with knives and a COVID mask easily kills a Jedi Master with a tiny little throwing knife. Sabine can get run through and she gets right back up. Reva gets run through twice. The Grand Inquisitor, he gets run through. How is it possible that a tiny little throwing knife is able to kill a Jedi Master, but being stabbed, run through twice with a lightsaber does not kill you? Anyway, let me just point out here that the punching sound effects are beyond ridiculous. Amandla Stenberg, who might be a passable casting for High School Musical 14 direct to streaming, does not have an ounce of intimidation factor, charisma, or acting talent. But more to the point, how the hell are her tiny fists producing thunder like Ivan Drago hurt bombs? Also, what the frack is this on Carrie-Anne Moss's eye? The fight scene here is emblematic of every fight scene in the show. 2 characters line up. They eye each other like very enthusiastic cosplayers LARPing at a con. They charge, engage in one-handed slap fights, throw a force push and skid backwards on wires, repeat. No tension, no stakes, no reason to give a shit about any of these characters or why they're even fighting. And check out this banger line of dialogue.
You, what are you doing here?
I'm here to kill you.
Shakespeare wept. $180 million, folks. What a fracking embarrassment. Even as May gloats over the dying Indara, I can already tell the show loves this character. She will absolutely be a misguided hero by the end, if not the freaking savior of the galaxy. Just like Reva, who mercifully spares Luke. Just like Moldaver in the Fallout show, who massacred half the people in a vault only to die as cold fusion Jesus. Or who can forget Wanda, who heroically saved a town of people from the living nightmare of being meat puppets in someone's twisted fantasy, who she herself originally imprisoned as meat puppets in her twisted fantasy. Right after May attempts to murder the bartender in order to distract Indara and land the killer blow on the Jedi Master, so stunning, so brave, we are treated to an embarrassing attempt at manipulating the audience into liking this psychopath. She decides to finish off our nondescript Star Wars-style bearded alien. But don't worry, she sees generic cute Star Wars alien child and has a change of heart. Look at that! Another Antifa-style psychopath with a heart of gold. I would expect nothing less from this cube-shaped woman, apprentice to the Dark Master Harvey Weinstein himself. How is it that this woman escaped the Me Too eye of Sauron and never had to answer a single question about what she knew and when she knew it? Never doubt that when it comes to Hollywood in general, and Disney Lucasfilm in particular,
you will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
We're then introduced to May's twin sister, Osha. Wait, what? I'll say that again. We are immediately introduced to the killer's twin sister. Literally every source of mystery and tension in this story is stripped bare at this exact moment. More on that later. She's working as a mechanic, a technician. I guess mechanic sounds Star Wars-y. It sounds so Star Wars-y. There's dinosaurs and diversity in Star Wars. She's ordered to repair the shields on a Trade Federation ship. It's dangerous work in space because you never know when a fire in a vacuum with no oxygen to feed it might flare up and blow and crackle in the wind. And it's clear the trade feds don't give a crap whether she and her bud die in the attempt.
What is taking so long?
The mechanics are on it, Captain.
Quick aside, it's so funny how they go out of their way to make the trade feds not have a Chinese accent. Another racist crime of the odious original Star Wars films has been set right at last. Bless you, Leslie Headland, you leader of women, you weaver of words, and loving lesbian wife.
Their grease grubbers are disposable.
A line I don't mind. It suggests at least that Osha has taken a shitty job for unsavory people who use workers as space fire fuel. But then Osha says,
You know, we can hear you. And frankly, I'm hurt because Philip is clearly disposable, but me, on the other hand, come on.
Very funny.
My God. Amandla Stenberg just buried the needle on the stunning and brave gauge. This line is so bizarre. Is it a smart move to mouth off to evil corporate goons who would just as soon space you to save their cargo? This is what happens when the crying Starbucks barista generation is given a Star Wars show.
As like a full-time student, I get scheduled for 25 hours a week, and there's so many customers, and like,
Why is Osha shrugging this off like friendly banter with a lovable captain? Why is she so whistle while you work at the subtle suggestion that her life is cheap and meaningless on this ship? There's not a shred of verisimilitude in this show. My cringe has cringe. Then a malfunction causes a fire in space. I'm going to pause here. Anyone who understands why this is a problem is an actual science fiction fan. Anyone who does not, and I hate to gatekeep here, well...
He vatored!
And if you agree with me and you are a science fiction fan, make sure you put a like on this video and subscribe. And Osha immediately relives the day where the Jedi totally did not burn down her house and totally did not kill her sister. Then a couple of Jedi show up. The ensuing dialogue is so bizarre. Jedi Yord Fandor, and obligatory bad-eared girl boss companion with appropriate SJW smirk, demand to know where Osha is. You see, they have the description of the murderer, who of course matches Osha's description. And they flew straight here, to a nondescript ship in a nondescript system in the middle of freaking nowhere. How the hell did they find her so fast? How did they know she was even here? But the strangest part is the captain denies she's on the ship.
This is a cargo ship. We have no passengers.
Why? She's a dumb grease grubber or some such, and her life is meaningless. Why not just hand her over? Wait, quick note here. Did a sensitivity reader purposely avoid the term grease monkey for some reason? No reason. I'm just asking. I'm just curious. The captain explains that only droids are allowed under the Republic to perform exterior hull repairs. What? Why are the trade feds going out of their way to break the law to hire human workers instead of droids? Weren't the Trade Federation shown to be the premier droid employers of the galaxy in the prequels? Did they not wage an entire war with whole droid armies? Is this Cubehead's stupid way of setting up an ironic origin of the Trade Fed's reliance on droids? Or are we implying that human labor is so dirt cheap compared to the droids, you can afford to flout the law to hire them? But how? How could skilled human labor be so much easier to employ as to make it worth it to risk fines or imprisonment? This is such a contorted reason for OSHA to be employed on this ship. It's already established she's a grunt and undervalued by her employer, which I presume is to give her character an underdog story. So just fracking say that she's a cheap, expendable worker, leave the droids out of it, and have the trade feds hand her over. It would fit with what's already been established. Why have this pointless, out-of-character refusal to cooperate with the Jedi? Oh, wait, that's why. So we can have Yord whip out the old Jedi mind rape and give us Jedi stuff, because this is Star Wars, and this is modern Star Wars audience. It turns out Osha used to be a Jedi Padawan who washed out. She knows Yord and is friendly with him, but he's here on business. She matches the description of Indara's killer. Seriously? Just the killer's description, that's it? There's literally a line later in this episode that the evidence in the case is, quote, strong. How much longer do I have to record this? That's the smoking gun that identified a Mechanic at the far edge of the entire galaxy as the prime suspect. I'm sorry. I mean, seriously, this is the guy who gave the police sketch that solved the case. Yord and Bad Ears, because who cares what her name is, lugged this guy like 10,000 light years just to finger the suspect? So they put her on the ship and they take her. They put her on an automated droid-run transport with a menagerie of other criminals. Geez, they've been busy. To pack her back to Coruscant while they that would be Yord and Bad Ears, quite separately travel back to Coruscant. Wait, so they brought two ships? A prison transport for the criminals and a Jedi ship? And the Jedi are clearly going to drag the bartender back to his bar, then head back to Coruscant, while the prison transport goes directly back to Coruscant. I cannot wait until the long man gets a hold of this shit. Are you seriously telling me it's a waste of resources for Yord to take the suspected murderer of a revered Jedi master back with him on his own ship in his own custody? It's also been noted how absurd it is that someone capable of killing a Jedi master is being arrested by kind of low-ranking Jedi Knights, but whatever. Folks, 4 years of production on this show. 4 years.
You let that sink in.
Delayed multiple times, $180 million spent. I mean it when I say of the executives at Disney, the army of producers in the credits, the writers, and on down the line working at Lucasfilm. These are stupid people that write this crap. The reason for this nonsensical, convoluted plot is so that a bunch of criminals can escape and generate a side quest, because that's what Disney Plus Star Wars shows run on. Frankly, MCU shows for that matter, but that's neither here nor there. My dear sailors and Starnauts, you are not going to believe how cringe, how pathetic, how disastrously plotted this crash is, and I'm going to tell you all about it. But first, this video is sponsored by the High Seas action-adventure novel Blood and Oak, by me, Captain Garrett. Here's the story. When his sister is kidnapped and sold into slavery by the Barbary pirates, a daring young Navy officer embarks on a suicidal quest for rescue and revenge. This is a story of bloody naval warfare, set during the age of fighting sail, with ruthless rogues, smugglers, cutthroats, and pirates, with deadly sword fights, and tall ships slugging it out with cannons. Available now in Kindle, print, and audiobook. go to www.bloodandoak.com. And when you get there, there's a free special gift waiting for you from me. Get your copy now. The link is in the description. And now, back to the video. OSHA crash lands on a planet and has to be hunted down because there is not enough mystery or tension, or rather any, in this plot to sustain one freaking 30-minute pilot. Look at this crash! The ship is spinning in free fall into an atmosphere, which does not cause it to burn up on re-entry. With a level descent, OSHA might have a chance at survival. But this thing spirals into the ground like a Zangief pile driver from Street Fighter 2. But don't worry, OSHA used cargo straps as seatbelts to fasten herself to a metal column. That's basically as good as the security foam from Demolition Man. These are sci-fi writers, guys. Back at Jedi Gestapo headquarters, we're introduced to Lee Jung-jae's Master Soul and the infamous "close your eyes" scene.
Close your eyes.
And he's one of only 3 actors in the show that has talent and that I like. Too bad the writers of his character possess a level of sentience registering just barely above a turnip. This is literally what he says in the scene. Connect to the Force. Have faith. Think of diving into a great ocean.
Give yourselves over to its weight.
This is a bunch of pseudo-philosophical gobbledygook that means nothing. I don't think of weight when I think of the ocean. I think of vastness, horizons, tossing waves, darkness. If you're sinking into the depths, I think of cold. Do you think of weight? This brilliant lesson is interrupted by the stunning and brave stank face of Leslie Headland's wife, Rebecca Henderson, who is, of course, of course, she is the highest ranking Jedi we've met so far. This is the most cut and dried case of nepotism in world history. It's as if she's reading her lines on a teleprompter. She informs him that his old washed-out Padawan OSHA is the prime suspect in the murder of Master Indara and is on her way to Coruscant in custody now. This scene is purely expository. It does no meaningful character work for Master Soul, who is played by the only actor in the show with real Jedi energy, if not the lines or character work to back it up. Master Soul races off to get OSHA. The last 12 minutes of this episode is a tedious delaying action of OSHA on the ice planet, Master Soul, Yord, and nerdy Jedi girl, who cares, exchanging plot exposition. Yord apologizes for putting OSHA on an automated prison transport rather than taking her back to Coruscant himself, an error in judgment he promises to repent of in future episodes. Oh, who cares? Honestly, Yord, it's not even your fault, dude. The cube-shaped woman that wrote you did this to you. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Soul, in an exposition dump, explains that he and Indara rescued OSHA from a fire years ago, started by her sister. Every dialogue is just mulching over shit that we already know or expect and are not looking forward to. It's like being in the waiting room before your colonoscopy procedure. Episode 1 ends with Master Soul rescuing OSHA from jumping off a cliff. Wait, why was she fleeing for her life but then threatening to jump off a cliff? Also, where did she think she was going to go? She's on a hostile ice planet. There's nothing to eat. She's going to freeze to death. What the hell? Anyway, Master Soul says that he believes she's innocent. Well, that's convenient because it eliminates any possible tension in the plot from him doubting her. Meanwhile, May catches Smilo Ren monologuing by himself, explaining that Jedi are nigh invincible when you attack them with a weapon, so the only way to kill a Jedi is without a weapon, because that's what an acolyte does, because that's what kills the Jedi's dream, which is what kills the Jedi. And then, I shit you not, my dear sailors and starnauts, we see Leslie Headland's name appear in no less than four out of the 5 first end credits. Directed by Leslie Headland, written by Leslie Headland, created by Leslie Headland, based on Star Wars, created by George Lucas. My condolences. Executive producer Leslie Headland. What an absolute pile of shit. The moral framework of the Acolyte presents a cold and bureaucratic Jedi driven to surveil, regulate, and tightly control the use of the Force. Gone is the spiritual warmth of Master Yoda's binding energy, created and driven by life and available to all. Gone is the quiet wisdom and servant leadership of Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan, peacekeepers using the Force for good, not hoarding it for control. The Force is not a guiding will of the cosmos, invoked galaxy-wide as a tiding of prosperity and good fortune, ensuring that even in dire times there is always hope. No, the Acolyte views the Force with the banal greed of the Gestapo, a superhero power used for dispensing order, a dangerous weapon, a tool of control that must be transferred to the hands of the marginalized. In a word, the world of the Acolyte views the Force not as life, but as power. As Master Soul puts it,
The Force is powerful, like fire or the ocean.
Jesus, oh my God.
It is a power.
What a cold description for such a beautiful gift.
And there it is, my review of The Acolyte, Episode 1. There are 7 more episodes, folks, so make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell because I've got more reviews on the way, including reviews for Hot D, House of the Dragon, because we need some good stuff too. And until next time, this is Captain Garrett saying I will see you out there.